Junior Miner Weekly, StockPulse.com production. We keep track of the equities within the commodity sector, find the best companies looking for hidden treasures. With me is Allan Berry from the Allan Berry Reports to run through the bigger equity news and add to the Christmas shopping list of bargains we established last week, with seasonality being the theme. Al, before we unwrap that list for this week, what are your thoughts on current week activities here in the sector?
Yeah, Rob, thanks for having me again. And I've got a few points that I wanted to get across. First of all, I just as I was getting ready to do the show, I saw Ray Dalio's big mutual fund is about to, they're going $1 billion short on the market. And I think that's probably a pretty good move. The New York Stock Exchange and those big cap stocks are priced for perfection, and when it comes to earnings growth, I don't think perfection is coming. I think that this is a bullish situation for the mining stocks, because I can see with gold, we've got a lot of things pointing towards higher gold prices. You've got debt growing faster than GDP. Chairman Powell talked about that this week. That is not a good situation. You've also got the negative yields, now probably nearing $20 trillion worldwide. You've got QE to infinity. After they lowered the balance sheet of the Fed, now they've gained back 40% of what they lowered. So they're going to be back up to past where they were post 2008. Very quickly, and those are all very good bullish things for gold. You've also got, I believe what's causing this short-term repo market problems is that China is not happy with the trade war, and they're starting to put the screws to the U.S. That's why we're starting to see the quantitative easing growing so fast. And I don't think that's going to end anytime soon. And so you've got this market situation, you've got things pointing to higher gold prices, and then we've got seasonality with the gold stocks that I think you only got a few weeks left of these cheap stuff, Rob, and then we're going to have a much stronger market into the end of the year and going into the new year. So that's why I think people want to be paying attention to these shows we're doing, and I've got some more set up for today to talk about.
Yeah, let's get right into those bets, as we like to call them here. First one on the list here, Marathon Gold, Valentine Gold Project in central Newfoundland. Matthew Manson runs that show. Why don't you run through that one?
One is the stock has been really powerful. The chart is very strong. The 52-week low is 67 cents. The high is $1.72. Earlier this week, they had some very good news out, and I think that they're going to be sort of in a lull here for the next month or so with news. So as strong as the stock's been, I think that this is one you want to see maybe let it roll over a little bit. Look to try to get it a little closer to $1.20 range. But this is a very strong project. I think this company is a takeover target, and they've got a future mine out there in Labrador. And if you can get it on any kind of cheap pullbacks, I think that's where you want to be looking at accumulating MOZ.
Okay, next one up here, Osisko Metals. I'm going to start drilling at Pine Point here. I know one you've picked in the past, and some smart guys in this one.
Yeah, Osisko's been a really nice pick for me over the years. I originally picked the original Osisko when they were about $1. They ended up getting taken over. Now the Malartic mine is one of the best big mines in Canada. And then they created a royalty company, they created an exploration company, and this is the Osisko Metals is their exploration efforts. They are about to crank up the drilling, as you said, on their Pine Point project. The 52-week range is 42 cents on the low, 72 cents on the high. Currently trading at 49 cents as they're about to crank up the drilling. I think that this one is one you want to put on your buy list right away. These guys are very good at finding mines. strong mine finding team, and you can get it for just about at the 52-week low, maybe right at the low if you're patient. But I don't think you want to let this linger too long to add to the portfolio, because I think once they crank up that drill, anything can happen with the stock.
Yeah, how much lower could we let these things go anyway? So
Yeah, exactly, Rob. You've got one of the best exploration teams on the planet, and they're cranking up the drill on one of their top prospects, and the stock's trading within 5 to 7 cents of the 52-week low, which is indicative of the seasonality situation, Rob. We've got this seasonality we keep talking about, and there is a perfect example of, this one. I don't think you're going to be seeing it at near those 52-week lows once we go into the new year and get through this tax loss selling season.
this one's interesting to me. Japan Gold Corp, JG on the venture. John Proust, the CEO. A drilling update here from Far East. Take us through this one.
Yeah, Japan Gold is very interesting for a few different reasons. One, they just had out news on two fronts. One, they gave a very good update on their exploration efforts, and then they got awarded some new exploration ground as well. Why I'm interested in this one so much, Rob, is one of the best low sulfidation epithermal gold mines in the world is in Japan. It's called Hishikari. Tremendously high grade. You're looking at average grades of like an ounce. They have some underground workings that you can actually see the gold just dripping off the walls, Rob. But there hasn't been any exploration in decades. And recently they opened up the exploration to the foreigners, and there's been two companies that have gone in there: Irving, IRV, and Japan Gold. Those are the two leaders that are way ahead of the curve. And Irving's done really well recently with some drill results, and Japan Gold is, I think, right on their coattails. These epithermal vein systems are not easy to figure out because there's zonation of the grade from the top of the system to the bottom of the system, and you got to be in that boiling zone. And so sometimes it can take a while to figure out where you are in the system and then tag that boiling zone. But I really like the ground that Japan Gold has, and the people that are involved with it. And the 52-week range on that one is 10.5 cents on the low, 43 cents on the high, currently trading at 22 cents. So it's, biased to right at the middle of the range, and with lots of work happening. So that's one I think you want to put on your on the radar screen for take action fairly soon on.
And moving on here to Pacton Gold. This one's Dale again doing some drilling on the Red Lake Gold Project in Northwest Ontario. I know you always talk about this one.
Yeah, Pacton has some really good ground. It's on the trend. It's actually sort of on two trends: the main gold trend of the Gold Corp stuff, and also near where Great Bear has recently been doing very well with their discovery. Pacton is run by Dale Ginn, who's an exceptionally talented exploration geologist. I really like what they're doing, and now that preparatory work to get ready for this drilling, and now they're drilling. So, they could drop big news on us at any time, and with the romance of what Great Bear has done, that could change the valuation very quickly. Currently, the 52-week range is on the low 9.5 cents, on the high 38.5 cents, currently trading at 11 cents. Another example, Rob, of the seasonality we're in. You got the tax loss selling that puts pressure on a lot of these juniors. But this is one that's drilling, trading at the 52-week low, and could drop some big news on us at any time. So another one that I think you want to have high up on the radar screen.
And this one here gave themselves a Christmas present early. Mux, McEwen Mining, Rob McEwen there raised a boatload of money and raised it fast.
Yeah, they announced it, I think, on Wednesday. Today, which is Friday, when we're recording this show, they've announced that it's done, it's closed. So they raised $50 million very fast. And McEwen Mining, I made them a pick at $2. I've taken a bit of a haircut here with it now trading at $1.59. But I think that haircut, I would be I'm banging the desk on this one right now. It's 52-week range is $1.61 on the low, $2.84 on the high. Currently trading at $1.59, which means it's trading at a new 52-week low. And now that they've closed this financing off, why I made them a pick, and this financing makes them even more of a secure pick, is that they're a turnaround play, Rob. They've had some problems with their production, but they've recently also had some very good drill results. Rob McEwen was recently in the last month or so was at the Beaver Creek conference. You want to look that up. He did a really good talk where he was very forthright in what problems they've been having and how they're going about trying to fix those problems. This $50 million will help them to fix those problems. And I think that this is a great turnaround for someone who wants exposure to a producer with a good profile going forward. I think this is a good turnaround play.
And wrapping up this week's list here, Skeena Resources, Golden Triangle, SK Creek Project, under the direction of Walter Coles Jr., who have a call in, by the way. We'll try to get him on the show perhaps next week or so. But I know you like this one. They're active. They got their chart is on fire. A lot of good things here.
Yeah, this one's bucking the trend of the seasonality, and I think and it's in the Golden Triangle, which generally this time of the year, I'm worried about the Golden Triangle plays, Rob, because it gets cold up there and they can't drill. But Skeena, they've got a bunch of underground workings that they can drill right through the winter on. And I think that the combination of their recent drill results, they've got some high grade, and the fact that they can keep drilling throughout the winter time, and that they're well financed. But the real romance of this story, Rob, is the whole reason that there is a Golden Triangle is because of the project that Skeena has. Back in the 1980s, there was a big gold rush up there because of the mines that Skeena and the people that found the mines are also involved with Skeena. They found the SK Creek mines up there, and it just caused a massive staking rush. And that excitement has basically continued all these years later. But what's really important to pay attention to on Skeena is that they're going back into those workings where back in the 80s and 90s, when this was in production, there was a cutoff grade, I think, of about a half an ounce per ton, Rob, because the price of gold was so much cheaper back then. They left a bunch of material in the ground that at today's prices would be just money-making machine to go back there. And that's what they're doing, is they're going back in and they're looking for what was left over, and they're having real good success with it. And they've got all that underground mining, which I think is, you take all of those things into consideration. That's why these guys are bucking the trend on the seasonality. And I think that they can continue to do that into the new year because they can go underground drilling and keep tagging this hot, high-grade stuff.
Before we let you go here, Al, seasonality was last week's tip, and it was mentioned quite a bit here. What's this week's tip for investors?
I'm still going with the seasonality play, Rob. I think we've got about 3 weeks left here. where people can take advantage of these bargains. They tend to start going away around the middle of December. We often get a Santa Claus rally in the last 10 days or so of December. So, this seasonality is a really important trend. It's almost like it never doesn't reward you as long as you're picking good stocks. And we've been putting together a bunch of good stocks. Also want to plug my company, Advanced Gold, because we're getting close to some drilling here pretty quickly on that big geophysical anomaly that I've been talking to you about lately, Rob. And we're in Mexico where you can drill year round. So on the heels of that, if we get some good results, I would expect a really strong news flow out of my company, Advanced. So lots of good stuff happening, lots of good companies to take advantage of based on seasonality. And that's the theme that I'll be going with for the next couple of weeks, Rob. But those bargains won't be around for long.
Appreciate that insight. That's Allan Berry from the Allan Berry Reports. Make sure you check out his newsletter. He's obviously picking a lot of winners and a lot of insight and knowledge here. So, Al, appreciate the time as always, and look forward to catching up to you next week.
Hey, Rob. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. And basically, really, these days, a lot of my picking is here on StockPulse. So yeah, I've got some good recent reports out in the last few months on AllanBerryReports.com. But this is where I've been hanging my hat lately with StockPulse, getting down deep into these companies and the trends and the seasonality. So, take a look at all of our shows of late on StockPulse.com.